And blessed to be with you. Fear not, little buddies. We are back, ready to go, rolling on the right side. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Out to Dan Gaynor, joining us now from the Media Research Center. Dan, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are things out there?
In Idaho, it is as America should be. We have a super Republican majority, and we're worried about bulls on the loose. We wish we could say the same for D.C.
Well, we have a lot of bull on the loose here.
Indeed. Let's talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend. It is fascinating, the freak show that was the California Democratic Convention, people booing, people going crazy. You had one candidate saying, we're not down with socialism, it's dangerous, and they were nearly booed off the stage.
Well, I mean, this is the problem the left is facing, that the media are trying to navigate around so they don't embarrass them, is that the reason why Biden is still, I think he's up at like 38% or 32%, something like that. He's in the 30s. And I think the most recent poll is 32. So, but he's there because the sane, ordinary Democrats don't want to vote for socialism. The problem is, generally, the sane, ordinary Democrats are not the ones who hold sway in the primary. And so that means they could have very little impact in a primary that is dominated by the hardcore left, and that's the Ocasio-Cortez wing of the party. And that wing of the party wants to go full-on Venezuela. I mean, when I say full-on Venezuela, they want to take your guns. They want government to seize the means of production. They want Ocasio-Cortez declared yesterday that housing is a right, and that your right to a house precedes my right to make a profit. So that means, I guess, if I happen to have, let's say, an apartment complex, and you don't have an apartment, I guess you get to go in there, and I don't get to make a profit off of it. I don't know. I mean, that's the kind of scary stuff that comes from the mouth of somebody who's genuinely deluded. But the media don't harp on this. You see, the right-wing people focus too much on Ocasio-Cortez. Well, you look at any liberal website, she's all over it. She's everywhere. She's everywhere in the press. And except they don't ever try to make her look bad. Well, we've had this long history. It's funny. I'm speaking to a college in a couple weeks. I was thinking about some of what I'm going to say. And one of the things is how the media alter the narrative. You've got a protest, the annual March for Life, and the media go to the protest looking for the most extreme people. You got another protest that, some sort of anti-Trump protest, and the media either look for the novelty item, the stupid Trump balloon in England, or they look for the most calm, rational protesters, because they support that protest and they hate the first one. So they want to use that as a way of underscoring the narrative. And that's just the way they fix everything. And, you go through this California thing. That should be huge news that they have impacted. Let's face it, they don't want to elect the guy who says socialism is bad.
Crazy times. Our great friend Dan Gaynor joining us from the Media Research Center. By the way, Dan has relatives here in the Treasure Valley. We keep cajoling him to come out for a visit. Hopefully we can get that done. And then you have Nancy Pelosi actually getting booed off the stage. If you are running the Democratic caucus in Congress, what would be your advice to the speaker?
Well, at this point, she's caught between a rock and a hard place. If she doesn't impeach, she's going to be forced to. So what she has to try to do is get enough people on board in her own party, because she runs the risk of dividing the party in a huge way. If she's got to meet with her Congress people and say, look, we're stuck. We're going to be forced to impeach. We might as well just go ahead and everybody's got to suck it up. Because if we don't, then all of our voters are going to target whoever didn't support it. And at least if we do, at least we're united. Or tell everybody, hey, here's the deal. I'm not going to vote on this. You all are going to vote. And whatever we vote, everybody's got to go along with. Because the danger the party has right now and is that they're going to end up very divided over this.
Right, because people see the economy, people see the president doing well abroad, and
Well,
they can't.
Just that, I mean, nobody. This is just a manufactured thing. This is like the old Soviet Union. We're going to keep investigating you until we find something. They've been trying for a couple of years now to prove Russian collusion, which they can't prove. Well, then stop investigating, stop trying to prove it. If the press and the left had treated Donald Trump like a typical president and not had foamed at the mouth every second of his campaign and gone insane after he got elected, if they had done that, they could have done more to push their agenda and frustrate things Trump wanted to do than they've done by treating everything as insane. Because what they're going to get now, unless they can really get their act together, is we get another 4-year term of Donald Trump. And because they're going to probably do this impeachment thing, which the American public doesn't want, they run the risk of losing, not just losing the Senate, but losing the House as well.
Which may
the
not.
The American public doesn't want this.
Right, which may not be a bad thing. Dan Gainor joining us. Media Research Center, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. So, never mind that it's not good. It's everything else. It just undermines his credibility abroad, and the impeachment's not going anywhere. It's just fascinating how fixated, Dan, as you pointed out, the media is churning this along with the radical AOC Democrats.
Well, what's truly amazing is they're doing exactly what Putin asked them to do. And I mean, by that, if you look at the little bit of money that Russia spent on this election, 2016, was designed to try to divide America, to pit Americans against one another. And that's what the press have turned around and done, and the left has turned around and done. I mean, CNN's back on with Michael Wolff, even though he's thoroughly discredited. Put him back on. Put Stan Rather on there, and you tried to fix a presidential election. Back on. Put Mike Avenatti on there so many times, it looked like he was a guest host. And, promoting him for president. He may well go to prison. I mean, at some point in time, you would think they would sit down and say, oh, yeah, okay, we've done some bad stuff. Maybe we need to regroup. I mean, if this was a football game, and, the first half of the game, because that's exactly what happened. We had half the presidency, a little bit more. First half of the game, you accomplished nothing. You feel like, oh, okay, injured some of the enemy players, but they keep scoring. And the big drive, which would be Kavanaugh, the big drive, oh, well, they won on that one. Oh, well, okay. Well, then maybe, just maybe, we change our tactics in the second half.
Dan Gainor joining us.
They're just, yeah.
Dan, you're fired up today. That's why we love you.
Oh, of course I have. I just, because one of the reasons why I'm fired up? Because I know, and every person in Washington knows, that we are standing on the railroad tracks, and they are sending the rapid, what we call the Acela here, the high-speed rail train right at us, called impeachment, and we're all going to get hit with it. And it's going to be every single stupid day, either for the next 2 or possibly for the next 6 years of my life. Even though no one, Americans don't want this. There's no proof of anything. They're just going to do it because they're insane, because they cannot stand that they lost in 2016.
Dan Gainor joining us, Media Research Center, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. And again, the precedent this sends, you don't like someone, you just, get the gallows of impeachment ready to go. How does this impact what's going on at the border?
Well, I mean, what happens is basically there's one political party that wants open borders and one that doesn't. And, well, actually, some of one who don't. Because a lot of the GOP want open borders, too. And so what happens is we don't do anything. Because we as a nation are divided on it. And because we're divided on, we have a garbage policy. And, the rest of the world, it's no longer just Mexico. It's no longer just Central America. It is the entire rest of the world knows you can just walk right into America and become an American. And I'm sorry, I'm sick of it. I mean, I am amazed at how evil some of the people in Washington are on this, because the Democrats are doing it purely for votes. Doesn't matter if it's going to hurt our economy. Doesn't matter if it's going to hurt, states around the country. They're doing it because they know first-generation immigrants usually have nothing. Okay, it's not their fault. They come from countries where they don't have much, and they come here because they want to be better off. But people don't have anything. Guess what? They generally want stuff. They want government to give them stuff. They want, the Ocasio-Cortez promised, housing. Well, Dan Gaynor, you have stuff. We're going to take your stuff because that person's not American. Why do you stuff? Because they have a right to it. No, they don't. They're not even American. Why don't we worry about the Americans here first? Why don't we try to fix some of the problems of poverty and education in Appalachia? Why don't we try to fix the school systems that are broken in almost every major city in the country, by the way, almost all of which are conveniently run by one political party. I won't say which, but you can kind of guess. But this is a way of simply gaining power, because whenever the illegal immigrants in this country are made legal, the GOP will never win another national election.
Dan Gaynor, Troubling Reports. We always appreciate you. Newsbusters.org, Media Research Center. Dan, finally, you want to say hello to your relatives?
Oh, yes. Well, they need to come east. I'm too busy to come west. They need to come east. My brothers talked about coming east, but the whole gang. Say hello to my brother and his wife, and my three nieces that are two of which are out there. One of which is down south right now because her husband's in the Air Force. So God bless them all. Miss them.
God bless you, Dan Gaynor. By the way, life without humidity here is really, really fine.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock you.
Uh-oh.
Humidity doesn't bother me in the least.
Oh.
It really doesn't. When you grow up with it, you're used to it.
I'm with you, brother. You take care.
All right, take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Our great friend Dan Gaynor joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning. Coming up next, a couple things. We've got the CBD oil booth. Breaking news here. Do we have a breaking news sounder? Bum, 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 bum. There we go. We're very budget conscious on this program. So the CBD oil is coming in. And it's in at the mall. It's coming to Meridian. We'll tell you about that. Also, climate change, apparently the end of the world. We have a date for the end of the world. You're like our friend Gene Lockhart going, Kevin, I try to listen to you. I like your program, but it just scares the blank out of me. Well, a lot of this is for entertainment purposes only, right? It's crazy, wacky stuff that the left is channeling out to the media. We are your inoculation of that, and that's where you come in. You're always welcome. Heck, you are the show at 580-5436. 580-KIDO. You're always welcome to join the conversation. But coming up next, the call for impeachment continues, and the CBD oil, is it the be-all, end-all? Will it cure everything? Will it cure everything? Or is it the new snake oil? Let's discuss next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you very much. Appreciate Ray Amaya always running the program here. Jeff the Suit, our quality control officer, and you, the people that provide the content to wake up on the right side each and every morning. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So the CBD oil has come to town, and the CBD oil is big when it says it can cure just about anything. And now you've got the bodybuilders using it. Over the weekend, there was a big show, and the bodybuilders, they're out there with their nothing but swimsuits on and posing suits and like Arnold Schwarzenegger or what have you, or The Rock. They're posing and such. And then I'm looking at ads saying CBD oil will help you recover faster. it's better than protein powder. And you're thinking, if it's gotten to the bodybuilding community, then it's just about everywhere. Let's take a listen from our news partners, Channel 7 here on the latest craze in the Treasure Valley.
We've only been open till Tuesday. We had way more volume than we anticipated. It's become clear to us very quickly that we've outgrown our cart.
Another hemp-derived.
It's the first of its kind in the Treasure Valley, Golden Nuggets CBD, a shop dedicated to offering a wide variety of CBD products.
So this section is our pets, and we have tinctures that are chicken, salmon, bacon, and peanut butter flavored. So most popular is the tinctures. I really like the mints. They're kind of like an Altoid. So it's just like your normal bath bomb, but it has CBD in it, and you can soak in it for a while.
The wide array of creams, oils, and edibles claim to treat pain, anxiety, insomnia, and a number of other ailments. Golden Nugget CBD owners Jennifer and Justin Long say they get a lot of questions from customers asking about supposed CBD effects. But one of the most common inquiries?
We do get a lot of people wondering, how are we here? How are you in Idaho?
In Idaho, CBD products like the ones Golden Nugget carries are legal because they claim to contain 0% THC, claims that legally don't have to be vetted, in part because there's no agency in Idaho or nationally tasked with doing so.
There's a bit of a split in our industry, the CBD industry.
But Jennifer and Justin say they take extra steps to abide by Idaho law.
We're about providing guaranteed third-party tested products.
All CBD items sold here are from companies that use an outside lab to test what's in the products.
It's a very formidable lab where these tests take place. State-sanctioned, licensed, very expensive facility.
The test results were available for us to see and are readily available for customers as well.
At all of our products we have here, we have binder that provide all test results and product information.
So there you have it. CBD oil coming to town. And really, these entrepreneurs are very smart. That's the big thing right now. CBD oil, and people have been selling it. Now, remember, this was a point of controversy in the gubernatorial debate. Kevin, I have a life. I go camping and fishing. I don't remember. Well, there was a big debate between legalizing state-sanctioned CBD oil and allowing it into the state between now Governor Brad Little, Tommy Alquist, and then Congressman Raul Labrador. And I commented on it where you had Tommy and Raul going at it with now the governor, and the governor standing firm saying, look, we need to get it tested. It needs to be approved by the FDA, and we need to go through the proper channels. Now we hear that you can just open up a cart at the mall. Heck, if that were the case, that would be funding our retirement fund. More on that in a minute. First, traffic and weather together. Let's get you to work. Well, sometimes work can be that way. Safely and on time, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Dave. So the CBD oil is coming to town. Before you know it, there'll be a CBD oil shop next to the vape stores. Talk about entrepreneurs, talk about doing business the right way, I suppose. And I'm sure a lot of people that are pro-hemp, pro-marijuana, pro-everything else will be celebrating. More on that in a minute. First, to your phone calls. Liberty Linda joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. You know, what was Liberal Steve smoking yesterday? Sometimes we think maybe he was born on Mars or some other planet. You have to set him straight, Kevin.
Well, that's where you come in.
Well, we've been trying to for years now, and didn't his mama teach him common sense?
You'll have to address that with him one day.
Yeah, that's the question I have with Liberal Steve. Anyway, and breaking news, heard first on the Kevin Miller Show. I plan on proving that Christopher Columbus traveled up and down the United States on the Pacific Ocean as well as the Atlantic. So
that is breaking news.
It is, and I'm going to prove it. So Liberty Linda's going to prove it. And also, I think President Trump has to get back home and put the military on our border and save our nation. He needs to stop messing around over there. Don't you feel sorry for the guard over there sometimes when you watch them and they have to stand there? They can't move. if a fly lands on them, they can't shoo it away. If their nose itches, they can't itch their nose. Anyway, I feel sorry for the guard there over in Britain. You ever thought about that?
I feel sorry for the Border Patrol and everybody on the border. They're just simply being overrun, and we're watching it happen.
Oh, on the border, yeah. I meant in Britain, but our border as well. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts this morning for the Kevin Miller Show.
Liberty Linda, we appreciate your thoughts. Thank you. And we look forward to you proving that Columbus sailed up and down the Pacific Ocean, the Pacific coast.
I'm going to prove it.
All right. Thank you, Liberty Linda.
Heard first on the Kevin Miller Show.
Thank you, Liberty Linda.
Okay, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So here we have it at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. CBD oil is coming to town. Whatever happened to law enforcement? Whatever happened to, saying no to things? But if it's legal, so be it. But this prediction, and it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure this out. I mean, we're going to have vape shops. Here's what we're going to be known for. And maybe you're down with this. We're going to be known for churches, gyms, and in no particular order, dental offices, vape shops. Did I throw in churches? Churches should be at the top of the list. And CBD oil shops. Now, look, if it doesn't cause you any harm, great. But it just continues to fuel the pro-hemp. And look, if you can do hemp here legally, great. But it continues to fuel the whole CBD marijuana drug legalization thing, in my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And quickly to Rachel Sutherland, joining us now on KIDO Talk Radio from Fox News Radio. And here we have it, more of the same concerning Robert Mueller. He just won't go away, or the fallout over Robert Mueller, Rachel, simply won't go away, it seems.
Well, good morning. Mueller wants to go away, that's for sure. But House Judiciary Chairman, Democrat Jerry Nadler, is saying that he is ready to issue a subpoena for Mueller to come testify. Now, he made it abundantly clear during that brief statement he gave his Justice Department that he has no intention of discussing the report any further, and that if he's called to testify, practically he'll just read from portions of the report. And this all comes as next week the full House is set to vote on contempt citations for Attorney General William Barr and also former White House counsel Don McGahn. As you know, he defied a subpoena to testify recently. So this would be a civil contempt citation. This is not a criminal contempt. There's not going to be the sergeant-at-arms making any arrests or anything like that. This is going to be civil. But it does carry some weight to it in that perhaps the Attorney General and Don McGahn could face fines. And that would be on their person, not on the Justice Department or the White House.
Indeed. When we take a look at this, I guess we'll have to see if they show up and whether or not there'll be some big theater there. It continues to escalate and escalate. And as you said, it would be really kind of, I don't know if it would be unseemly would be the case, but unusual if Robert Mueller just comes in and, well, give us the story, sir. I'm going to read from my report now.
I think it'll be a little taciturn in that he's not going to want to do this. I don't know if he'll fight a subpoena or if he'll just come up and be as boring as possible. But they have a lot of questions. They want to ask him, again, how he came to his conclusion of no obstruction. Mueller testified that it had to do with the Justice Department standing policy of not indicting a sitting U.S. president. The Attorney General has later said, he was talking to CBS News, saying that Mueller could have made a determination on that. He didn't go into the specifics of Mueller's reasoning, but the two have kind of been quietly anyway, at odds over this issue.
Rachel, I know you've got to run. We always appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Rachel Sutherland. Let's go to Lincoln in Star with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Lincoln, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. Lincoln, and you?
Doing all right. Hey, I have a question. Where's the CBD oil coming from? Who's providing it? What state is it coming from?
Well, apparently it's coming from a variety of sources that is checked at a lab, according to the Channel 7 report. It is verified that there is no THC in it, and therefore the people at the mall, and they're going to open up another store in Meridian, are okay to sell it.
So And you can get CBD from just hemp, not just the marijuana plant, just the hemp strain, right?
My friend, I am not an expert on that, brother.
Okay. I just think this is kind of ridiculous, man. Like Idahoans could be profiting from this. We could be growing it ourselves. And I'm pretty sure you can get a CBD from hemp, not just marijuana. I could be totally wrong. I just think when they shot that hemp down, it's saying, hey, Idahoans, we don't need to bring extra revenue to Idaho.
Well, I think it's, I think the hemp debate obviously will be, unfortunately, it will be probably agenda item 1 as opposed to repealing the grocery tax when the legislature meets again in January. But I was surprised that it went down this time. Obviously, the hemp people didn't partner with law enforcement, and much to my surprise, law enforcement and the governor said, we're not going to do it this time, and that was the end of the hemp.
Wow. Well, do you think it's going to go this next year?
I do. I mean, I disagree with you, Lincoln. I'm not a hemp guy because, again, I think it's just a pathway to legalization, but I believe that I believe that it will. I think the interests are just too big to stop it next session. But look, if I knew what I was doing, I'd have a CBD oil at the shop at the mall 3 months ago.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I was talking to the guys this last session, and they were saying if you plant a hemp plant, that within 5 miles you can't plant a marijuana plant because they'll cross germinate and it'll turn the marijuana to hemp, is what I was told. And I think if you were to get the hemp industry in Idaho as hemp, which can be used in all kinds of industrial ways, I mean, the plant itself is phenomenal. So I just think if we were to get that established in Idaho, well-rooted in Idaho, when marijuana tries to come, they have to find a piece of ground 5 miles away from a hemp farm before they can even plant.
Lincoln, we're going to throw that out there. Anything else, sir?
No, sir, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we have it. Lincoln and Stars saying the hemp will make sure the marijuana doesn't come in. By the way, hopefully we'll be able to write a blog about this, not on Saturday, but sometime this week. There's a breaking story out of California that legalization of the marijuana is actually destroying the legalized marijuana industry. And speaking of marijuana...
Marijuana. I wanna Mara. Hey, can we talk like adults rather than 2-second sound bites about stupidity like Linda does, saying Steve needs some common sense?
Well, that's not very nice to attack Liberty, Linda.
Well, it's not nice of her to attack me and say I need some common sense.
Well, does she have a point?
No, because she's LDS. So what's that got to say about common sense?
Well, that's not very nice.
I know it's not. But anyway,
well, what are you?
Kevin, can we talk seriously about in 1937?
Now, before you get to your talking points, and I mean, I know you've printed things out and you're going to read something. Before we get to the transcripts.
Printed anything out. Would you stop? I haven't printed anything out. I know more than any of your callers know about both cannabis and hemp.
You have been
mushrooms and everything else.
You have been our hemp expert for many, many years. There's no doubting that, sir.
Well, in 1937, Jack Daniels and the plastic industries and the forest industry all got together and wanted hemp outlawed. Not so much the cannabis, because at that time, Black Americans were using more cannabis than anybody, and they really weren't concerned with it. The whites, that's the truth. But they outlawed it all. We've been importing from Russia, New Zealand, China, Brazil, hemp ever since then into the United States. We've been importing it by the truckloads into the United States because it's used in so many products. So now, in 2005 and a little bit before, they started bringing it in on farm bills where we could grow it. Canada actually wrote a love letter to some states over there in the East Coast. Would you please grow hemp and set up a plant? We're burdened, totally burdened. But anyway, I have been buying CBD oil at the World of Nutrition in downtown Napa forever. For my arthritis. I use it on my hands. I use it on my lower back.
Look, the only person that's allowed to do endorsements on this program is me.
Okay. And also at the co-op in Boise, I was buying hemp powder for 25 years. And the Mayo Clinic uses hemp powder for all its cancer patients. It makes hemp powder.
Well, my goodness gracious, how can we be so wrong that you and the Mayo Clinic are using a product that, until last year was illegal federally? And, you can go to the grocery store and you can get hemp bread. Whoopee.
So, Kevin, common sense tells us that it's good for you. It's God's gift to humans and mankind.
You know what this is? You know what CBD oil is? What was the latest craze that we had many years ago? It's going to fix everything. Like, you're a big muscle guy. And how's your knee recovering from where the mercenary shot you in the knee? How's that doing?
It's not doing very well at all.
Well, you don't mess with the mercenaries. There was this thing that, you must have done something for him to shoot you.
I didn't get shot by a mercenary in my leg. You know that.
You told me that you got shot in your knee by a mercenary. Did you not tell me that?
Well, if I told you the sky was green, would you believe it?
Just like you're telling me about the hemp. My point exactly.
Well, you've got a good point there when you say stuff like that, because it does counteract. But no, hemp isn't going away. Hemp will be here forever. And the state of Idaho really looks stupid.
We don't look stupid. We look prudent, cautious, and law-abiding.
Law-abiding. You know how many officers in the state of Idaho use hemp?
Not many.
And hemp oil?
None.
Hundreds.
I doubt it. Let me just say this. By the way, you can always join the conversation now.
I'm not talking cannabis here now.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. We stand proudly with law enforcement, and law enforcement is on our side. They're not down with you, the hemp, or the CBD oil, because they know exactly what it leads to.
Kevin, that's like saying the Firemen's Union on the East Coast is down with Trump.
Aren't they?
That's like saying any union is down with Trump.
They are. The Teamsters love him.
It's the thing is, Kevin, their officers here in the state of Idaho have common sense. We're not talking about the upper echelon.
When's the last time you were in a police cruiser?
We're not talking about the upper echelon.
My
Kevin.
point exactly.
We're talking about the guys that work the street and work every day in the office and everything else. They're just like you and me, and yes, they use hemp because they know hemp is good for you, period.
And apparently you're good for us. We appreciate the banter as always, Liberal Steve.
They fired up, and right is wrong and wrong is right. Who said that? East Coast Trump's lawyer said that, didn't he? The truth is not the truth?
Thank you, Liberal Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. So let's just, and to his point, you've been able to get CBD oil for a while here in the Gem State. So maybe the state government just winks, nods, and lets people buy this. And then we have, again, the report from Channel 7 saying that a booth at the mall is doing well. And look, if people are buying it, it must be okay. Well, what does CBD oil lead to? What does hemp lead to? And by the way, remember the promises of you can get $50,000 for your crop of hemp per acre. I think that's down to $20,000 or $10,000 now. As more and more states legalize the hemp, you have the law of diminishing returns. So here we have this, and you take a look at this. I'm sure this is the only shop that is focused in on CBD oil. You've got it at the mall. It's coming to Meridian. And like I said, it's going to be vape shops and CBD oil shops. But in reality, are we talking about something that really works or a placebo? Love to hear from you next. Kevin Miller on your home for Hannity, KIDO Talk Radio. Rolling right along, Kevin Miller in the morning, taking your calls on the right side. Let's get to Hank in Boise. Hank, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning. Both Jefferson and his Chadwell plantation grew hemp, and George Washington grew hemp at Mount Vernon. They used it for basically making the coarse cloth for their slaves and for rope making. That was the primary thing. But aside that, I'm intending to agree with you on both points. It's a stage, for instance, for the legalization of marijuana. The handwriting's on the wall. There's too much evidence in recent times that states that this is a part of a stage-by-stage process to basically legalize marijuana and then eventually other drugs. And I'm not, you can replace, hemp is not a vital commodity where we absolutely need it. It can be substituted by a lot of things. I don't like the handwriting on the wall. You're absolutely correct in all your points on this. The CBD oil is another thing that's staged into full legalization. Too many conservatives buy into this thing, and a lot of the claims of CBD oil, I think, is quack medicine, and it's a shame. I can expect liberal Steve to go along with it. That's to be expected. But to me, it's a shame that too many libertarians and conservatives go along with the BS on this stuff. So I'll leave it at that.
I appreciate it, Hank. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Traffic and weather together. Good morning, Dave. And we go to Pro-Life, who brings us home on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pro-Life.
Good morning. Hey, I want to straighten you out about this kind of stuff. People eat sugar, and it's a gateway drug to alcohol, tobacco, meth, marijuana, heroin, and everybody that's a criminal is eating sugar. So, there's probably only about one person that's not ever going to wind up smoking marijuana, and that's me, because I don't eat sugar. Now, see, when you say that CBD oil and hemp leads to marijuana use for recreational use, there really is no correlation. That's just some kind of, people believe that, and we're taught that, but it isn't true. So my point is we could have CBD oil, hemp, and we wouldn't have to have...
All right, Pro-Life, hang on. We're going to get back to you. You want to hang on?
All right. Yeah.
All right. There's another reason to stay with us. More of Pro-Life. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.